the Crowley Lake columns in Monte County. If you knew nothing about the location, you would presume that the rocks here were carved by human hands. But the intricate columns and waves of stone were actually created by boiling lava, more than 700,000 years ago, following a volcanic eruption. The land was once a desert. But the desert was carpeted in ash after the volcano blew its top and the lava turned the ash to stone. The eerie current appearance of the stone columns can be put down to natural erosion, taking place over thousands of years. Technically speaking, the columns should be called degassing pipes, which is a reference to how they were formed. People who have been to the location and have seen it with their own eyes compare the experience to walking through a stone forest. Dubai is not a place that ever thinks in small terms. When it builds a tourist attraction, its natural instinct is to make it the largest and most opulent in the world. That's why there are in excess of 45 million flowers in the Dubai Miracle Garden, stretched over the landscape, crawling up buildings and even engulfing an old airplane. The flowers just seem to go on forever, in every direction and feature every color of the rainbow. This garden is bigger than some villages. It covers over 750,000 square feet. Perhaps more impressive than that, though, is the fact that a garden like this is growing in one of the hottest places on Earth. Not only that, the plants are fed through the reuse of rainwater, as opposed to chemical sprays. With so much space and so many flowers to play with, those who are responsible for the garden's design have rendered many different shapes. From love hearts to whited lucent flowery tributes to some of the world's most famous buildings. Even with all this grandiosity, the government still plans to make it larger. Snow Monkey Park in Japan is named for two very compelling reasons. Firstly, it's covered in snow, and secondly, it's full of monkeys. The nickname is a lot cuter than the location's real name, which is Jigakudani. Translated into English, it roughly means the Valley of Hell. We think the name is a little unfair. For a start, hell is supposed to be very hot. This is, however, a difficult landscape. Its freezing cold snow completely covers it for 4 months out of every year. And the cliffs which line the valley are sharp, jagged and over 2,500 feet tall at their peaks. It's not somewhere humans would want to live, but these Japanese macaques don't seem to mind it too much. They've even figured out that the hot springs are a great place to come and warm up or dry off when the weather is at its worst. Historically, the monkeys have always been well protected. They were once believed to be messengers for the gods of the mountains. Confluence of Rhone and Arve rivers. The Arve and Rhone are the two beautiful rivers with two different colors. They meet at a certain point in Geneva, the second most populous city in Switzerland, and makes an amazing natural occurrence there. The color of the Rhone is blue and the Arve River is brown. The most amazing fact is that after their confluence, both rivers never mix fully due to the difference in density. The Rhone is one of the major rivers of Europe, rising in the Rhone Glacier in the Swiss Alps. On the other hand, Arve River receives water from the many glaciers of the Chamonix Valley, before flowing northwest into the Rhone on the west side of Geneva, where its much higher level of silt brings forth a striking contrast between the two rivers. After joining these two rivers, the water flows together into one final river, Rhone. The Sea of Stars. As if the islands of the Maldives weren't already heaven on earth. Come nighttime, island reveals another mystical surprise, glowing blue waves, lapping the sandy shore like something out of a fantasy land. As the sun sets below the sea, Vadhu Island's waters are taken over by a shimmering sight. They light up a glittery spread of blue reflecting the sky. This island in particular is known for its amazing sea of stars where the waters glow neon blue at night. A tiny microorganism, a phytoplankton called dinoflagellates, react with oxygen under the water, and is triggered to produce this blue glow when it feels movement. Therefore, waters where these small phytoplankton live sparkle as if mirroring or capturing the stars. China Tianjin Mountains. China Tianjin Mountains and the Hunan Province are some of the most unusual mountain formations in the world. Covering an area of around 17,000 acres, they're made from quartz sandstone and first began to emerge from the earth about 400 million years ago. The subsequent erosion of the rock has created these skinny mountains, which reached a peak of 3,976 feet, and are named after the legend of a farmer who led a revolt against an oppressive regime who called himself the Son of Heaven. When the mountains are covered in mist, there's something mystical about them, and it's no surprise they were the inspiration for mountain escapes in movies like Avatar, and are one of the most popular tourist destinations in the region. Grand Prismatic Spring in Wyoming, United States. The stunningly colorful Grand Prismatic Spring is in Yellowstone National Park and is the largest hot spring in the United States. It's bigger than a football field and about 370 feet wide. With a depth of at least 160 feet, you could fit a 10-story building inside it. The spring is fed through a crack in its floor through which as much as 560 gallons of water is released into it every minute. Its normal temperature is 160 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's because of this that it's surrounded by such vibrant rings. The color is created by the presence of microbes that live in hot environments, and depending on the time of year, you'll see reds, oranges, yellows, greens and blues. Monte Roraima, Venezuela. We're so used to seeing natural formations that have irregular shapes that it seems almost impossible for something to have a rigid design to it. Monte Roraima in Venezuela isn't your ordinary mountain though. Its 12 square miles summit is surrounded by 1,300 feet tall cliffs, almost in a square shape. It's actually on a tri-point border between Venezuela, Guyana and Brazil. It has long been part of local beliefs of the Payman and Capone people to be the stump of a giant tree that once bore the fruits and vegetables in the world. The seemingly unscalable cliffs have inspired a number of stories, including The Lost World by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle and Paradise Falls from the movie Up. Fly Geyser in Nevada, United States. Fly Geyser looks like it would be at home on an alien planet, but amazingly it's only about 20 miles north of the town of Gerlach in Nevada. Although you might think this to be a natural formation, it actually is the result of human activity when a well was drilled in 1916 with a view to irrigating water. Due to the geothermal activity in the region, the water was close to boiling point. So the well was abandoned, but a calcium carbonate cone began to form around the opening. A second hole was dug in 1964 by an energy company, but the water wasn't hot enough for their needs. So they abandoned it too, and the structure that formed around it is what we see today. It has a number of openings which the water shoots 5 feet high out of, and the entire structure is currently between 25 and 30 feet tall. Various platforms and pools have also been created across 74 acres. The water is unusually high in silica content and the presence of algae that thrive in the conditions are responsible for the multicolored deposits that have solidified around it. And because it's heated to a temperature of around 200 degrees Fahrenheit, it produces quartz, something that usually takes 10,000 years to happen in other geysers. Even though there are a couple of other geysers nearby that have been formed in a similar way, none are as large or as impressive as the Fly Geyser is. Therefore, one of a kind and something you won't see anywhere else in the world. Caño Cristales, Colombia. Caño Cristales is a small tributary river that feeds into the Guayabero River of Colombia. But due to its unique plant life, it's also commonly referred to as the most beautiful river in the world. The fast-flowing water passes through a region that's on the edge of the Amazon rainforest, the Andes and the eastern Llanos, and is almost perfectly clear. The riverbed has numerous holes and dips in it because of the way the rocks caught in the current erode the bedrock. This has produced the ideal location for a species of plant called Macarenia clavigera to grow. During the summer months it takes on a gloriously red hue. and also provides shelter for other species to grow that add yellows, greens, blues and black hues into the mix. It's no wonder that this place is also affectionately known as the liquid rainbow. It is so unusual that many visitors still can't believe that it's real, even when they're standing right next to it. Subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications, and you will be the first to know when a new video comes out. Thank you for watching and see you soon.